Okay, so today I'm going to try to bolt the transmission to the engine. I'm not worried about, I don't have a flex plate. I'm actually not worried about that at this point. Sorry. Flex plate is the coupling that goes between the input shaft of the transmission and the flywheel of the engine. And it's what literally ties the transmission's turning parts, the input shaft, to the engine's turning part, the flywheel. I'm not worried about whether that exists right at the moment yet, because I'm just trying to make sure that my engine bed and shaft log are properly aligned. So if they're properly aligned, I'm not worried about the rest, so I'll continue on. So I got to lift up this motor. I'm going to put it on my bench just because I'm old and I don't want to bend over to work on the thing, and see if I can get these things bolted together and prepared to lift up into the boat. If there's anybody curious if how useful a gantry crane is, I just lifted 1,000 pounds worth of motor onto that bench like it was nothing. The gantry crane's expensive, but worth it.
Next, I mount the transmission to the engine. I don't have a flex plate in there to couple the flywheel to the input shaft of the transmission, because I'm just going to be using this right now to check alignments of engine bed and shaft log. For the two rear engine mounts, there's 16 holes to be drilled. So first we drill out the smaller hole, then come back in with a large drill bit to finish up the hole. And then finally polish it up with the diagram. Check the fit, make more.
Okay, if I had to start over and do these again, I would make this piece longer, then come out with this piece. Because as it is, I can't get a socket on there. I'm not starting over because these took me 2 days to make, both of them. But if something tells me I need to remake them or something else happens and I need to remake them, I'm moving this flange out so I can get a socket on these, because now I got to put it on with a wrench, and that sucks. You're what?
Sir, if you come up here, don't fall in the hole, please. Up a little. Does it make a difference for fitment piece for this side or this side of the crane? This, it does make a difference?
Okay, sir. Pass this in. Looks like we gotta go forward with the crane.
Okay.
Like that, is that true?
Well, I'll get the crane next up.
No, I got the crane. Stay up there. What's that?
Better.
Better.
Good.
You watch that side, I'll watch this side.
Stabby.
Yep. Forward. Real slow, real slow, real slow. Right there. Okay. Keep on keeping on.
Hold it.
Good.
Looking good. Like that.
Come on down. Damn. Does that look pretty in there or what?
Yeah.
Shit, that's up there right where you can work on it.
Perfect,
Nice.
right there.
Now, here's another question.
Change your starter.
Beds. Tomorrow it looks like I gotta cut the engine beds out, the little tacks, and lower it or raise it? Which is it, sir?
Raise.
Ugh. Oh yeah, we gotta raise it an inch or two. So another morning in Colorado. We have the engine set on the engine beds, but the engine beds are only tack welded in because I wanted to make sure everything lined up before I finished welding them. As it turns out, they don't. One of the hazards of using CAD software or CAD drawings that haven't been confirmed by me personally. Anyways, so what I got to do is I got to find the exact center of this shaft log and then run a laser dead on centered all the way up, so that when I'm looking at the back of the or when I'm looking at the output flange of the transmission, I can line it up via the laser dot. So my plan to do that is I have a 4-foot level that has a laser in it. And so my intention is I'll slide it up inside this shaft log. Now, pipes being pipes, it's already going to be centered up. 4 feet long, running down a length of pipe. It's centered. just about every direction, except for up and down, because my laser isn't perfectly the size of the inside of this pipe. So what I'll do is I'll measure the inside of the pipe and mark it down, which is 3 7/8, and then I'm going to find where on that the laser dot lands. And the laser dot lands on 2.5 inches. So, if the laser dot is landing on 2.5 inches, but half the diameter of the pipe is, let's see here, 1 15/16, I am over by 9/16. So the dot is going to be too low by 9/16. So I can put it on the gear reductions output flange, and as long as the center of the output flange is 9/16 inch higher than my dot, everything should line up. 9/16, 15, so, point the laser dot the other direction. We'll measure the difference. Okay, so I'm off by 15/16. The engine bed has to be moved up 15/16 to properly align with the shaft log. And so it's just going to be a matter of lifting this motor up enough where it ain't sitting on the engine beds, then cut all the tack welds up, move it up 15/16 of an inch, and set it back down on it. If it lines up then, I'll finish welding the engine beds. I had someone ask why I'm moving this to within a 16th of an inch to get this lined up and so on and so forth when I have all this thread on each side. The reason why is I want all that. I don't know what's going to happen later. I don't know. I've never done any of this before. So this gives me the maximum amount of adjustment on all 4 points when the time comes to finally finish mounting or installing the prop shaft and getting it all aligned to the engine. So yeah, maybe I don't need to go to within a 16th of an inch and less than a 10th of a degree as far as my angles go, but I think, I don't know, so I'll be as precise as I can and hopefully not have to adjust those at all and they stay centered. If they do have to be adjusted, I've got as much play as I could possibly have to get this thing aligned correctly in the end. But as it is, there it is. It's installed. Well, it's as installed as it's going to get for now. I'm happy with the engine beds. I'm happy with the shaft log. Everything seems to be aligning just about right. When I stand on these here, which these are approximately the engine room sole or deck height, when I stand on them, I feel like I can work on this appropriately and properly. So, yeah. It's good.